This is Jared for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Kalle Sauerland. Kalle, how are we?
Not too bad, Jared. How's yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. Well, we're in Manchester at the minute, obviously fight nights in Bolton. Your latest signing, Lyndon Arthur, headlining the card. What is your thoughts on Lyndon and where did the signing come from?
Start on Lyndon. We've got to talk about this iconic, amazing venue that we're in today. This is a proper, I said in Manchester, that sounded too London, but I'm going to have to say it that way. It's a proper boxing gym. The smell, the sawdust, iconic gym. Pat Barrett, really big respect to him for, these are the sort of places where champions are made. And the smell of the sweat, it's lovely, gets the juices going for Saturday night live on Channel 5. Now I've done the intro, now I'll answer the question. So in answering the question, what I think, Lyndon is a product of these types of gyms. That's what I want to talk about, the gym. Tough man, amazing skill set, surrounded by a team who know exactly what it takes and what it and where it can fail. And with Pat, he has someone around him who's seen a lot of things in life and a lot of things in boxing. And that is when you look as a promoter and building a fighter, you look at what's his environment like? Is it a stable? This is boxing family. This is boxing. What boxing comes from. It's not from, the O2 with the lights on. It starts here, and that he's in this environment gives me that belief that Lyndon has that advantage on the Buatsis, the Dan Azizes, the Anthony Yards, when it comes to the world level. I really believe that.
Yeah, I want to second that. It is a fantastic facility, this place, and you can tell it's like one where you breed champions. They're not.
Yeah, let's get it right. It ain't a David Lloyd, but it's a proper boxing gym, but it's the whole. It's not just the gym. It's the people around him, and that's key.
Absolutely, it's always important to have the right people around you, especially in this game. But like we said, we've got to go back then to Lyndon Arthur. Then Walter Sakira is not an easy fight. I've seen a lot of people writing him off. It's not an easy fight, and you got to remember the.
Write it off, aren't they? He's coming off a layoff, and they'll think, with Sauerland, he's put some guy in there from Argentina. First of all, the Argentinians are always tough. Point one. Point two, he's coming off a layoff, so. There is that's a bigger risk than you would take off a layoff. So, but at the same time, we want him live on Channel 5, so we have to provide an opponent who's going to stand there. And yes, he could get ironed out in a round. He's Lyndon Arthur, But at the same time, it could go the distance. I don't know. The reason for bringing in Woodruff versus Gwynn is to balance it up in case someone gets ironed out in the first round. And we've got a that is a 50-50 fight, British title, amazing banter between the two of them, and that gives it sort of the balance. So as a promoter, it's easy to say, why is he not fighting Buatsi on Saturday night? Well, there's a reason. There's a journey to get there, to make these big domestic fights, which go to world title fights. So I think it's very, very interesting, and the late addition of Troy Williamson is just added a little bit of salt and pepper on top of it.
Does that guarantee, what you saying, Troy Williamson, does that guarantee one of the ringside seats is taken by a man from Sunderland?
Yeah, rumour has it. Josh Kelly is filling up the Oyster card or whatever it takes to get up here. I'm sure he'll come on a skateboard if he needs to. He wants to see him. I think, look at him face to face, and now that big one is on if Troy gets through Saturday night. So once again, Troy, different situation. All the hype going on in his hometown, the whole of the North East about that fight. But he's got to go and fight this Argentinian on Saturday night. That doesn't make it easier. That's something where you're going to be sitting, he's going to be thinking, right, what might, Josh Kelly's sitting there, well, he's going to know that. He's going to be thinking that, and that for me is a fascinating mindset to be thinking what he's going to be thinking when he's in that ring on Saturday night. So it doesn't make that fight easier for him. At the same time, I hope he ends it very quickly and it's all no dramas, because we want that big one. But he's, like I said, he's got to do the business on Saturday night.
Absolutely. The two of them, both Troy and Josh Kelly, both come through. Well, providing Saturday, obviously, both will come through Argentinian tests. Big fight in the North East. Sunderland versus Newcastle derby. Have you got any update on where you're going to put? Obviously, it's going to be in the North East, but are you going to go to a stadium? Is it going to be an arena?
That time of year, I know they like a night out in the cold in the North East, but I think we'll be indoors. We're looking at the dates. The dates have to fit with other bigger events that we know will land in December. There's the World Cup on. We're on free-to-air television. I don't want to just come up with all the problems. Don't worry, the fight will be in December and it will find the right place and the right date. But right now I'm trying to marry up all that. There's other discussions about other big fights. We all know what we're talking about there in December. I don't want to share a weekend with, Fury AJ, for a big fight like Kelly against Williamson. That doesn't make sense for anyone. So we'll look and see a little bit what's going on there. At the same time, we've got Channel 5, a huge free-to-air platform, which has to find space always for boxing as well and find the right dates for it. It's a big fight which is going to do some huge numbers on Channel 5.
Definitely. I want to talk to you about another partnership you have, Misfits Boxing. Obviously, you've got a big show coming up now next month in Sheffield.
Absolutely.
Hasim Rahman?
No, Hasim Rahman is in November in the States. No, it's almost my mistake, because we put it out first that Hasim Rahman would box here. We decided now, given the level and the depth, and look at the announcement this afternoon of the Sheffield card, which is fantastic. KSI announcing that this afternoon for Sheffield with Misfits Boxing. It's going to be massive. We're back in November then. So October the 15th, Sheffield. And then November the 18th, we'll be in the US, looking like Austin, Texas, with Hasim Rahman, Vitor Belfort. So yeah, it's just great fun. And Sheffield, get ready. The Misfits are coming to town. Wait till you see this card. It is crazy. If you think the London one was crazy, this one is as equally as crazy.
So obviously you've been in boxing for years now, and this Misfits is...
I've been boxing in years, but not in crossover. But I've been in crossover boxing about 3 weeks, so I'm learning every day from it. It's fascinating. It's great working with KSI, and it's great working with Mams Taylor as well on the project. Like I said, it's when it comes to people that you look at for fights, I mean the amount of pro footballers, or we had what else? We had some mud wrestlers contact us. There's the range of different type of people who want to try and box, and his immediate reaction was, they just want a payday. But these people are like millionaires and very successful business owners and whatever. There was one guy, he had an IPO last time on the card, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is Misfits.
I was going to say, KSI as well took to it yesterday, asking the fans who they want to see him fight next. But he also confirmed the fight will be in the US in January. Is that?
That's correct. Yes, looking at middle of January for KSI. Yeah.
Should be a big card. But I want to speak to you about another fight you're involved in as well. I'm sure you've been asked about it a lot. Eubank Benn. It was a bit of a scare at the start of the week, but you shut them all down on TalkSport early on.
If you see it that way, that's good. I shut them all down now. I think the rumour mill kept on going. I think it only really slowed down when Junior posted some sort of countdown pictures and things like that. As promoters, people don't trust us. So what we say doesn't really count anyway. So we can try and shut it down, but the rumour mill was going. Like I said at the time, we have a contract with with the boxer who's boxing on the evening, and that's it. That's all I could say to it.
I was going to say, so obviously, you know, the fight sells itself. Eubank Benn, people are calling it the trilogy, but it's coming around now, obviously, quite fast.
They are calling it a trilogy, aren't they? And I that's one that I didn't pick up on when we were making the fight. I mean, I came up with like born rivals, you know, the rivalry renewed, family feuds, which it is in a way, but that people are seeing it as the third fight. I find that quite interesting. But if you look at it from the house, if this was Game of Thrones times and you had the House of Eubank and the House of Benn, yeah, it would be the third battle, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, why not? Let's call it the trilogy.
Well, we're on the subject of trilogies. We have got one this weekend, Canelo versus Triple G. You did speak to Into Boxing recently, and you did say that you think Canelo will win on points. Obviously, since I
changed my mind.
No. I was going to ask if you have, because obviously
That's cool.
I was going to say, have you seen much of the, like, obviously done the Grand Rivals and that video surfaced of Canelo with the sweat, obviously with the weight cut and all that lot. Do you think, has anything changed in your prediction at all, or are you set in stone that it's going to be Canelo?
I haven't really changed my predictions too much on the build-up material, because I've produced enough build-up material myself to know why you produce build-up material, but at the same time, I'll be looking at what they look at on the scales. You know, that sometimes sways my opinion. I just think that, like I said before, I think they're both greats they're both greats in a generation. You know, so this fight for me though comes at Canelo, who's now hit the prime, and Triple G, who might still be in his prime, but he's at the back end of his prime. I'm going to say it nicely, because I have huge respect for Triple G. But I don't even think that's the issue. I think the weight is the issue. Triple G defies logic for me, because we all put on weight when you hit 30. And he still, for me, looks like a middleweight. You know, and it's like he's never moved weights, and now he's moving weight. Just doesn't feel right. So I don't know. I mean, but I can't go out and say, well, he's changed weight, he's gonna have the floor weight with him. It's Triple G, you know. I mean, the man with the granite chin and the granite punch. So yeah, I think that the weight is the deciding factor for me on this fight.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, Kalle. I'll leave you to it now. Catch up with you later in the week. Thank you as well for speaking to Into Boxing. Thank you.